All right. What is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Happy Easter to everyone for all those who celebrate. Hope you guys are having a great day. And it looks like we are about to get some price action, some pumpage in the house here. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you here on this Easter day. And let's go ahead and get started, guys. Bitcoin is pumping, alts are pumping, and we were expecting a bit of this pump. Unfortunately, we didn't get the retrace we were looking for before the pump started, but it is starting. And the question is this a weekend fake out before one more push down to bigger support levels before the real pump starts, or is the pump going to take off without even hitting our local support levels, grabbing local liquidity and continuing? Right now, it looks strong. It looks like it wants to keep going. So let's go ahead and look at the price action here. Let me know in the chat, everybody, is the sound okay? Is the music okay? Let's see here. Okay, let me put on the music. Thanks, Christopher. I appreciate that, man. All right. Welcome in, everybody. What's up, R Pink? Thank you for modding here. How's everybody doing for Easter? You have a good day. If you didn't celebrate Easter, I still hope you had a good day with family and friends. Sounds good. All right. Okay, guys. So Bitcoin's getting some pumpage. Now, the last video I made was on a Thursday, and I didn't make a video on Friday because I had family coming in for Easter, but also nothing happened. You know, we were just continuing in this little micro range here, and we were expecting a slow weekend based off of it being a holiday weekend, based off Friday being Good Friday with no markets being open. And so we really were expecting nothing to happen over the weekend, really, and that's pretty much what we got. Now, on Thursday, I did say we need to watch for Sunday afternoon to Sunday nights, you know, when the markets around the world start to open, we can see that big pump in that price action start to kick in, and we are seeing exactly that. So Bitcoin is breaking some really key resistance levels. You can see very locally on the chart what we were looking at on Thursday. We were looking at this naked daily point of control around 85,700, where we had our local 786 with it. If we just do that fib pull from the highs to the lows of this little range, we turn on that 786. It was in perfect confluence with that naked daily point of control. So that was an area that I was watching for a potential rejection if it happened over the weekend. Of course, it didn't happen until just now, and you can see we had no reaction at all, exploded straight through it. So if you get that kind of price action, you do not look for a short when you're seeing this kind of explosive price action. So didn't even go with that. We also took the range highs into our naked daily point of control. You can see these range highs from Tuesday. Took those, no SFP there. Now we are pumping into our value area high of our range from 76.6. The range 76.6 to present day, you can see we're at the value area high. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this naked daily point of control. It's no longer necessary, and we can actually delete this. Now, this naked daily point of control on Coinbase, it's at 86,662. But if we go to our Bybit chart, you can see it's a little bit higher, and this is actually a naked weekly point of control. I'm sorry, guys. I'm mixing them up. This naked weekly point of control at 87,280 is in confluence with our 886. And so I did have this as a box of resistance where we're hitting into right now on Bitcoin. We need to be aware, because it is still the weekend and Bitcoin is pumping a little bit prematurely here. We could see a rejection from this area of resistance that we are at right now, and then come down to at least take our 83K lows. So I'm going to be watching this to see how it reacts. Actually, let's go ahead and zoom in on the 6-minute chart here. No real bear divs on the 6-minute. Money flow looks pretty strong. We are getting that reaction off the 886. We have not hit the naked weekly point of control yet. We have just front run it. Let's go ahead and look on our 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart, money flow looks pretty strong, and very, very slight bear divs right now, but they're not confirmed yet. So this is an area to reject where we could see the rejection, but right now Bitcoin's looking strong. Let's zoom back to our Coinbase chart, and let's go back to the hourly chart. And what I want to talk about, what happened over the weekend. So we continue to range within this small range here. You can see we had a little bit of pumpage on Friday, came up, took our local highs, our local internal highs on Friday, had that SFP, And then we had this 3-wave correction to backtest the point of control of both of our ranges. So this is not only the point of control of the range starting from 76.6, but it is also the point of control of our more intermediate range. If I go ahead and turn on that intermediate range, and let me go ahead and bring that to present day here, you can see both these ranges, whichever way you pull it, the point of control is the same. And you can see how we did bust above that point of control, came back to that point of control, back tested that point of control, now flipping it to support, and now we're starting to get our big pump. So the question is Bitcoin really about to break out? Because you can also see this pink descending channel on the chart is our descending channel that we've had from the all-time highs. Let's zoom out to the 4-hour chart, and you can see how this channel has rejected us many, many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, a bunch in here. And now we are starting to break that channel with volume to the upside. So what this tells me is this could be the real breakout. We also see alts were kind of leading the way here. Alts were pumping really strong over the weekend, coming into some key resistances. I'm going to cover some of the alts too. Solana, I warned you guys about Solana. I warned you guys that it was going to pump. And man, I'm so glad I caught that long from 123. Solana's looking strong. So first off, let me come in the chat here and welcome everybody in. Thank you guys all for joining. Christopher, Monty, Oopsie Doopsie, R Pink, Abir, what's up, buddy? Abir, you're awesome, man. Quails, Nonsense, what's up? Tony C, what's up, guys? Thank you all for joining. Diogo, JC, what's up, guys? Paper Beats Rock, I like that name. All right. Dr. Rex, what's up, man? Appreciate you. CJ, welcome in, guys. Welcome in. All right. Yeah, here we go, guys. We are at resistance, but we are at a local resistance, I should say, but we can maybe expect this pump. Like you can also see here on the Bybit chart, this bearish pitchfork that has been holding us down from the all-time highs, bearish pitchfork rejecting time after time after time. We are starting to break this bearish pitchfork to the upside with volume. Now, we are at local resistance, but if we can break this local resistance, this naked weekly point of control right around 87,280, I do believe we are at least going to come up to sweep our highs around 89K, but possibly much, much higher. Bitcoin is seeing some strength still. We are not seeing much of a rejection here, and I do think Bitcoin has a high probability of continuing this relief rally up to higher targets. Let's zoom out onto the daily chart, and if you look at our daily chart, our money flow still is curving to the upside very nicely here. We did see those double drives of bull divs, and we saw the bull divs first here where these two lows were, our first two lows were, local drive of bear divs, and then we made one more low because when we saw these first original bear divs, or bull divs, excuse me, we did not like the way money flow looked here. And because of the way our money flow was so bearish there, I was expecting one more dump to be made into actual support. So actually, let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's go to our third chart here, and let's talk about this pitchfork. Because this pitchfork is a bullish pitchfork pulled from our Wave 3 weekly impulse on the chart. And you can see here, as we were coming in and making that first drive of bull div on the daily here, money flow just looked bad, and we wanted to see money flow starting to curve up by then. So what I was projecting is that we could see, and we did see that 2-week like ascending channel in here, which the whole time we were doing this, I was saying it looked more like a corrective channel to the upside before making new lows. We did finally come in to make new lows, actually hitting a more macro support level, being the pitchfork band of our major bullish pitchfork. And so once we finally got that level hit, let's go back there. Once we finally hit that level on the chart with a third drive of bull divs, you can see also now bull divs here, bull divs more regionally here, third drive of bull divs, money flow now curving to the upside, gave us the signal that we needed to say maybe we are going to see a bigger relief rally this time. Maybe we're at the very least going to come take our little range highs or continue pumping up to much bigger resistance levels above us. So that is exactly what Bitcoin's in the process of right now. Volume's very low. Okay, CJ, is volume low on the mic? Let's see here. On the mic or on the playlist? Okay, for me, volume is good. Okay. Let me just check my music. I can turn up the music just a little bit on the chart. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking like a streamer right now. Yeah, volume on the chart on this push up. Well, it is a holiday weekend. Let's actually zoom in here a bit onto the hourly chart. I mean, that's a pretty big spike in volume, guys, right there on this push up that we're seeing. If you look locally, yes, compared to some of the other spikes, it is low so far, but it is an increase in volume in the past week. Since last Saturday, we've had relatively, actually very low volume on the charts. And this push up is with a big increase in volume here. And so we do need to take note of that. Yes, it's not the biggest compared to some of the other volume spikes on the chart, but we still are in a holiday weekend. And we do need to keep in mind that this is an increase in volume on the spike up. Well, and we are at resistance, guys. Make no mistake. You know, we could reject here because we still have never taken our 83K lows. If we look at our liquidation heat map, you can see here on the chart, let me refresh this. We did have those 83K lows. We had a lot of liquidity down there. So let's go to like the last week of price action here. And now we're finally coming on Thursday's video. I highlighted the liquidity both above the range and below the range and how we had liquidity on both sides. And let me zoom in here a bit so you can see this. You can see that we were coming for the upper liquidity before our lower liquidity. Now you can see that we've taken all that liquidity that was sitting at the top of the micro range. So now are we going to dump and take all the liquidity below us? That is a valid, real question to be asking here. Right now, Bitcoin's looking strong. If we look at our market cipher B to look for signs of maybe a pullback from here, you can see on the hourly chart, money flows strong, crossing into the green, still looking strong. No bear divs on the chart. If we go to our 4-hour chart, money flow coming up pretty aggressive here. Yes, we do have some signs, possible warning signs here, and I would like to talk about this. You can see from our first highs last Saturday to our highs that we made on Tuesday, we did have that 4-hour bear div. Now we are making another higher high on the chart, so 3 higher highs on the chart, and overall our momentum waves are getting lower and lower and lower. So this is telling us that, hey, maybe Bitcoin is starting to develop some warning signs where we can actually see a bigger pullback from here. What I would say is we're at resistance now. If we break this resistance, we have a very, very high probability to come at least take out all the liquidity above our highs around 89K. Okay, what's up, Andrew? Nice to see you. Welcome in, Marco. Welcome in, Zikri. Okay, Mike is fine. Awesome, awesome. All right. Yeah, so guys, resistance. We have to keep in mind we're at resistance, and we are seeing some warning signs on the 4-hour. But as far as locally goes, 1 hour, not really seeing any bear divs. 15-minute, not really seeing any bear divs. Money flow looks strong. Let's go to our 6-minute chart. 6-minute, no bear divs here. Money flow looks really strong. And let's even go down to the 1-minute chart. Okay, this is a bit concerning here. On the 1-minute chart, you can see these higher highs here, these lower highs here, money flow coming out. So we are seeing a 1-minute Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boot pattern, as Jason calls it, into our resistance, into our key resistance area. Now, one thing I would like to say, though, is it is only the 1-minute chart, and we didn't actually hit the naked weekly point of control yet. If we zoom in here, you can see that naked weekly point of control has not been tapped yet at 87,280. Go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff here. Yeah, so guys, I do think we need to watch for this possible rejection from this area. Also, we look at some of the other alts. They're hitting into their major resistance zones that we've been talking about on the charts for about a week. Solana's finally hitting into the big resistance that we were talking about. Ethereum here. Ethereum's not doing near as much as some of the other coins. But if we look at like Chainlink is pretty much not quite there yet. So I do think that Bitcoin could continue up higher, and some of these alts could continue a little bit higher. What I would be watching for now, if we do break the level that we're at right now, we just need to watch for the next level. We let the market come to our levels. We don't try to chase it. And also, if you guys missed the long, you guys should not be longing right now. Even if you think it's going to come up to 89K, you should not be longing now if you haven't already entered along from somewhere lower. Okay, volume low on yeah, CJ, thank you. Volume is low on BTC. Yep. Okay. Awesome, CJ. That's really cool. First 100 subs, man. I appreciate the support. Thank you for that. Alex O Crypto. What's up, dude? Alex O. I'm one of the Casper crew members, and I have I've been on your live streams too. Thanks, Alex, man. I don't know about a sexy voice, but appreciate you joining, man. I like your videos. They're really awesome. All right, guys. So let's see how this reacts here with Bitcoin. But I would like to say we are breaking out of that pitchfork from the all-time highs. We've been following this bearish pitchfork from the all-time highs for quite a while now, and it's rejected us time and time again. We are finally starting to break out with some increase in volume. Yes, it's not the biggest increase in volume, but we also saw on the charts when we were coming into these lows here. Let's go back to our other chart here. When we were coming into these lows here, into our major bullish pitchfork, hitting into major support levels with multiple drives of bull div on the daily. This told us that we could get the bigger relief rally. Money flow still curving to the upside. Also, if you look at our daily momentum wave, it is still rising here, and it is about to go above our last daily momentum wave. Now, that would invalidate any bear divs that we're seeing on the chart on the daily if we continue this momentum wave to the upside, which shows us that, yeah, maybe we could get that bigger relief rally. So now we need to watch for the SFP of our little range highs. Now, if any of you guys have been watching my videos, I've been talking. Let's go back to the Coinbase chart here, and let me go ahead and clean this up just a bit. Let me turn off some of my levels here. Okay. So one of the things that we were talking about for the past few weeks here is we had this upper range. I call this the all-time high range. And this range was considered the fair value for Bitcoin after the chaos of the election and the euphoria of a crypto-friendly administration entering the White House cooled off a bit. After people got, like, the euphoria was over with, we got some balance back into the market. We started to form this all-time high range for about 3 months, and the market was trying to price in the fair value of Bitcoin. And really, it was pricing in the fair value between 93,000 and 103,000, 103 to 104,000. You know, and anytime we would come above that, we would be considered overvalued. We'd sell back down. Anytime we came to the lows, we would be considered undervalued, and we'd pump back up. Now, there was a major catalyst that happened in the crypto market that really kind of shifted. And that major catalyst that happened was that Bybit hack of over $2 billion. And that gave us this big impulse down. Now, remember, this was a very, very clear impulse to the downside in terms of Elliott structure. We had our very clear impulse to the downside, breaking the value area low of our all-time high range with volume to the downside and continuing to make new lows. This is what I call the Bybit hack impulse to the downside. When we broke that down, you can see pretty much immediately afterwards, we had that Trump tweet with the reserves, and we had that nice 3-wave corrective move to the upside. And remember, in an ABC correction to the upside, your C wave is a 5-wave mini impulse, a sub-count 5-wave impulse within your 3rd wave of the C, or within your C wave of the ABC impulse, and ABC correction, excuse me. We bearishly backtested what used to be support as that value area low, our all-time high range value area low, and we rejected. We came down, we made a higher low, but then we came up for a second time and saw a second rejection of that value area low, confirming that the market wanted to price in a new fair value for Bitcoin lower than the all-time high range. And so once we got that new fair value established for Bitcoin, we started ranging sideways in a bunch of complex corrective moves, almost in a sideways range, starting to find the new fair value. And that's when we started looking at this range here. So let me go ahead and turn off the 76.6 range. So you can see I pulled this range after the impulse completed. When we started a bunch of 3-wave corrective moves here, this has been our new fair value for Bitcoin for the past 6 or 7 weeks now. The market has been trying to establish this fair value for Bitcoin. Well, a couple weekends ago, you guys all knew this. We saw the break of the value area low, came down, made new lows on the charts, and we even came back up and bearishly backtested that value area low a couple times and rejected. And it was like, okay, are we just repeating a smaller version of what just happened up here where we broke it down, backtested it twice, and came down and rejected, made new lows? Well, this time we broke it down, we bearishly backtested a couple times, but you can see here we did not make new lows. We made pretty much semi-equal lows. And then we were able to see that push back up into this volume profile. And let's turn back on that 76.61 because the value area low, let me grab that. Let me hide this one for a second. This value area low is shifted, but let's go back to this time right here. And you can see the value area low was lower. And so what happened is after we broke back into the volume profile, we back tested bullishly, not only the anchored VWAP from the lows, but the value area low of this range. We were able to hold it and flip it to support, showing that the market wanted to continue pricing in the fair value of Bitcoin within at least this smaller range here. And we continued to work our way up to the point of control. You can see once we got to that point of control, we did have a small rejection here, made a higher low at the VWAP, and continued to push up to the value area high of that range. Let's actually bring it now here. Pushed up to the value area high of the range. Rejected the value area high of the range. That was last Saturday. And since then, we've been in this micro range here, just consolidating, bullishly consolidating. As I've been saying in all my videos for the past week or so, this looks like bullish consolidation at the top of the descending channel or at the top of the bearish pitchfork, where it looks like Bitcoin is working on flipping our point of control to support. So let's actually now pull this all the way, where Bitcoin is working on flipping the point of control to support so we can continue up higher. Now you can see we are at the value area high of this smaller range from 76.6, and we do also have other confluence here. We have the naked weekly point of control and the 886 fib pull here. And that 886 fib pull is just from our 88.8 highs down to our lows here. And this is an area where we could see a small rejection or at least a pullback, maybe even to grab our 83K range lows. But if we break this area here, the only other level of resistance locally that I'd be looking at is the value area high of our intermediate range. Let's go ahead and turn off this 76.6 range. Let's turn on our intermediate range. And you can see that value area high of that intermediate range is right around our semi-equal triple highs up here, where we then could come up, grab that liquidity, see a confirmed close at or below the value area high, and then see a bigger dump down. That is something we do need to take into account and we do need to worry about. But overall, Bitcoin is looking pretty strong here, and we are continuing this push up. Now that we are breaking out of this descending channel, we could see a nice push to the upside. We could see a push up to 93K or even 97K. And let's go ahead and talk about some of these bigger levels to the upside. So first off, let's go onto our pitchfork chart, our bullish pitchfork chart. And I want to talk about this 786 right here, because you can see this 786 is coming in a pretty nice area where it's in pretty close confluence with our pitchfork midline. Let's hide this volume profile for just a second here, and I'm going to show you guys how well this pitchfork has been respected. Let's zoom out to the daily chart. And let me go ahead and get rid of this Elliott count for just a second. Okay, guys, so when we were in this bullish pitchfork, I've been tracking this pitchfork for months now, for months and months. When we were coming up here, hitting our first all-time highs, I was expecting rejection based off of the confirmed bear divs that we were seeing on the chart, with money flow finally starting to top out really towards 108K. And also, if you go back into my channel and watch that distribution video I made a couple months ago, when we were still up in this area, I was talking about this being a possible distribution just based off of the bearish signals we were seeing on the chart. Money flow was constantly leaving the asset as this range was developing. We were seeing all the signs of that distribution on the chart, and we did see that play out. So let me see, BTC. Let's go to the index chart real quick, and let me go ahead and turn on. We saw that distribution starting to play out very, very nicely here. And what gave me the signal that it might have been distribution rather than reaccumulation, because it did look like it could have been some reaccumulation as well, was just the money flow and the high time frame warning signals we were seeing. We were seeing weekly bear divs, monthly bear divs, and multiple drives of daily bear divs with money flow leaving the asset as this range was forming, as this distribution was forming. Okay, let's see here. Oh, awesome, Alex. Thank you for subscribing, bro. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate that. All right. So guys, now we form that distribution and we are starting to form that lower range down below. But we are at a point now where we could see that bigger relief rally. And this relief rally could bring us up to a few places. So I'll talk about some of those resistances that we could be watching on the chart here. Our range highs at around 89K to about 90.6K. You can see our anchored VWAP from the all-time high is coming in right around that area. I do think that's an area where we could see a pullback after grabbing the liquidity up here of these semi-equal highs, and then seeing a bigger pullback. Or if we do continue to break 90K, you can see the value area low of our previous range is right around 93K. We could come up and see another, we saw our two immediate bearish back tests and then made new lows. So now we could come up to 93K on a higher time frame back test, and if we do reject, we might continue down to our more macro support levels down below. The most strong level of resistance on the chart, and where Bitcoin has a pretty high probability of pumping to over the next month or so, I would say, is this purple box above us. And we just have so much confluence up in this purple box of resistance up here. This is really between 96,200 and 97,450. You can see we have if we turn on our naked weekly points of controls, we have a naked weekly point of control in there. If we turn on our naked monthly points of controls, we have a naked monthly point of control in there. If we turn on our weekly levels, we have a weekly level in there. And we also have the point of control of our previous range, and our golden pocket pulled from the all-time high down to our lows is in this box of resistance here. So 97K, I would say, is the most important resistance on the chart, and Bitcoin does have a possibility of continuing this pump up to 97K, where then once we get there, we're really going to have to see how Bitcoin reacts, because remember, we could still be in with the double drive of bear divs on the monthly. We could be in a bull trap where we come up here, get everyone to start longing again towards the highs after breaking our value area low at 93K, longing up into resistance, and then we could see that big dump to come one more time down to 70K, where then we would see our A, B, C correction, finish, and then we could continue the much bigger impulse to the upside. All right, let me check the chat here, see what you guys are saying. You think it's a fake out, CJ? It could be a fake out, man. We are in the weekend. Awesome, Diago. I'm glad you like the music, man. Okay, it's Easter Sunday, RSA. RSI is overbought, volume not too high. Yep, 1 hour candle closed. Okay, yeah, we are seeing some signs. Torb, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Welcome into the stream. Rashibi, welcome in, man. 89K. I'm really waiting for 89K now. Even though we are at our resistance level, our local resistance level right now, I have not taken any shorts here because I just don't see enough on the chart yet. Let's see. Blocky Crypto, welcome in, man. Israel, Monfim, welcome in. Yeah, I do think one big last drop is still possible. I really do. And welcome in from Brazil, man. That's really cool. Can we lower the music volume? I sure can lower the music volume. There you go. Hopefully, is that good enough on the volume there? Yeah, Alex, thank you for joining in. Okay, let's see here. All this TA can be written into code by AI. Yeah, I don't know how to do that, so I just learned how to do it myself. But if you can do that, you know, God bless you, man. Do it and trade with it, you know? Yeah. Yes, you're right, Abdullah. The last pump did happen on a weekend, but we also saw some dumps on the weekend. Like last week, was it last weekend? We saw a big dump on Bitcoin, or 2 weekends ago. And then it gave us the pump afterwards. So, you know, weekends can be volatile, but if you notice, most of the time it happens on Sundays, not Saturdays. Okay, yeah, Bitcoin's looking strong, guys. We're not seeing a rejection really from here. 3:30 in the morning. Wow. Well, thank you, Samuel, for joining. Dang. It's a dedicated man right there. You're in Jason's Discord. Well, hey, man, you know, don't be afraid to say hi and talk with everyone. Everyone's super nice in there. Okay, so guys, I do think right now Bitcoin's looking pretty strong. You can see that our 2 hour money flow looks really, really strong. Let me bring this up a little bit higher here so you guys can see this. 2 hour money flow looks very strong here. And I do think we could continue pushing, because if we zoom in on the chart, we are not really seeing any bear divs on the chart. And money flow, even if we were seeing bear divs, actually on the 12-minute right now, we are developing some very slight bear divs. But if you see bear divs like this, very slight bear divs where you have your lower highs in the momentum waves here, higher highs in price action, but your money flow looks this strong, your money flow will always overpower those divs unless it's multiple drives of divs. So say we do something like this and continue, and you're starting getting multiple drives of divs, and then your money flow is kind of doing something like this. That's when you could see that those multiple drives of bear divs play out. Do I think we can hit 83K one more time? Yes, I do think that is possible. And honestly, it would have been healthier to come down to grab those micro range lows before seeing this pump. We have a lot of liquidity sitting under these lows here. And so now the fact that we're breaking this micro range, this like week-long range to the upside, it's a shame that we didn't come for those lows. And now if we do get that pump up, we do know what we have more liquidity that's just down below, a lot of liquidity. Actually, all these people that have been longing the past week have their stops. If they know what they're doing, they have their stops at 83K or right below 83K. So that tells me that, hey, maybe the market makers are we're going to see a 1-2 punch on Monday, tomorrow, when the markets open. Maybe continue pumping overnight until New York opens. Maybe by then, though, Bitcoin could be taking those 89K highs, and then we could see that dump down to 83K to grab those 83K liquidity lows, range lows. But right now Bitcoin's looking strong, guys. I would say be careful shorting until you see a sign of weakness. You know, we don't just chase the market because the market's here. We have to wait for confirmation to enter. And right now we are not seeing any confirmation to enter here. All right. Let me zoom in onto the 5-minute chart. Let's see what we're seeing here. Yeah, I would say be careful trying to short this right now, guys. Let's see how we react once we hit this naked weekly point of control at 87,280. Thank you guys all for joining on an Easter Sunday as well. I appreciate it all. I just had to go live. I saw this pump starting to happen and kind of finished up all the family stuff for today. So I was like, okay, perfect time to go live. Let's see what happens on the charts. Maybe we can get some live trades going. By the way, guys, I do want to announce the channel does have a new sponsor and a new partner. We are now sponsoring with BYDFI. It is a new non-KYC, non-VPN exchange, and BYDFI is giving some of my subscribers a really good deal here. So, first of all, the exchange is 5 years old. No KYC or VPN required. They are giving you a welcome bonus, a deposit bonus of up to $8,100. Of course, that does depend on how much you deposit and your trading volume and everything like that. But they are also giving us a VIP2, which is like 17% off trading fee discounts, and also 15% back on your first cash deposit. That's pretty good right now. So, and then of course, MEXC is also a sponsor of the channel. Both of those links are in the description. If you guys would like to sign up, they are affiliate links. So yes, I will get a small kickback from them, but also it's a win-win because you guys get some pretty good discounts on trading fees and you can get bonuses there. So I think it's a win-win for both of us, and it also helps support the channel. All right, hitting into this naked weekly point of control. Let's see what happens here. Breaking it. I mean, I think this thing's going to continue, guys. We are actually, let's go ahead and look at our CVD here real quick. Yeah, check this out, guys. We are seeing a pretty strong push to the upside right now. You can see our open interest is increasing pretty strongly here. And this push up is fresh longs coming into the market, pushing the price higher. This is a bit of a legit breakout here. This next 10 minutes to an hour is really going to tell us what we want to see, because if we start breaking and closing some candles above this naked weekly point of control, there's really nothing holding us back to grab that liquidity up to 89K. And I would be interested once we get up to 89K, if we are continuing to see some bear divs develop on the chart, I would be interested in looking for a short from the swing failure pattern, but only if we actually get the confirmed swing failure pattern here happen on the chart. Let's go ahead and mark that out here. And we'll set an alert here. All right. Yeah, it's nice to see some movement, R-Pink. It does seem like we've had a week of this really, really micro range. Now, this range was still pretty decent to trade. We got some good scalps in here. But really, if you're looking for bigger moves, like this was a nightmare for many people. So now we are finally starting to see this push up. And you guys, I did talk about last week how we were consolidating. We were seeing bullish consolidation at our resistance, under resistance. And contrary to what most think, when you see consolidation under resistance like this with no real rejection, it is just priming for a big breakout to the upside. And we are starting to see that breakout to the upside. And what I would like to talk about from this range here that we were seeing, we could have seen this A, B flat where you take the highs of A and then your C wave here. And then this could be all a 1, 2, and we could be seeing a big 3 to the upside, 4, 5. We could continue much higher in this impulse to the upside. So I'm going to just be watching to see what happens at our levels. But obviously, let the market come to you. Mark out your levels ahead of time. Let the market come to you. If you're getting confirmations at your levels to enter shorts at resistances or at longs at supports, then you could take those trades. But if you want to be a long-term successful trader, you don't FOMO in when you see things like this. You don't just hit enter long and pray that it keeps going up higher. You really have to be aware of those levels ahead of time. Develop a plan. Set your position size based off of your stop losses, and don't enter those trades unless you see confirmations to enter those trades. Yeah, and paper beats rock. I know, like, who cares? Spot bags. Like, I know that most of us here are enthusiasts of crypto, so when we see it pumping, we're happy because we all have spot bags. All right. You guys want to check out some alts? This would be the start of the 5th from the lows. Oh, yeah, yes. Are you talking about, well, down from these lows down here, I kind of don't like this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just because you're 2, I mean, it is acceptable. Let me say that first. If we look at our first pump here, first of all, in your 1 wave, you want to see a 5-wave impulse. And we really didn't see a 5-wave impulse in here. We saw that 3-wave corrective move to this top up here. And if you're going to say that's a truncated 5th, let's just say that's a very, very rare in crypto, almost never seen. So, but if you're going to call that a 1 and you're going to call this a 2 and then all of this a 3 here, the thing is, even with your 2, if we do a Fibonacci pull from high to low and we turn on our 886, not golden pocket, 886, we actually even passed our 886. Now, that's not a hard invalidation, but it's very, very unlikely. So after having a 3-wave move, oops, what did I just do there? After having a 3-wave move in wave 1 and then coming down to past our 886 in the supposed wave 2 here, it just makes this very unlikely to be a 5-wave impulse. What is actually probably better is to see that it was like a WXY up in here, and then now we're starting a sideways. We had that flat correction, and now we're starting another new impulse here. But yeah, either way, Bitcoin's looking strong. So no matter how you count this, price action first, and price action is continuing with strength, and we were seeing strength in this area, so we were expecting that push to continue higher here. Okay, so let's see here. Can you check Sui? Sui, yep. I'm going to go over some of the major alts that are happening, some of the ones that I always cover, and then we can go into some of the other alts here. And you guys, I'm only going to do about an hour or so, maybe a little bit longer than an hour, because it is still Easter weekend, and yeah, because it's Easter. So, all right, so let's go into Ethereum here. Now, last time we covered Ethereum, we were looking at, let me go ahead and turn on some of these levels here that we have. Okay, let's just go here. I left the chart cleaned up. So we saw Ethereum make new lows into that value area low. And if you guys watched my channel the last week or so, I've covered this. That value area low was of a big range. If we zoom out onto the daily, you can see the value area low was really of our 5-year range, a 4-year range from our cycle highs of last cycle all the way. Ethereum's kind of been consolidating in this bigger price action chunk here for quite a few years. And now we dropped to the value area of the low of the range. We saw a strong bounce from the value area low of the range, and we started reclaiming the point of control. So once we started reclaiming the point of control, you can see here, reclaimed point of control, back tested it as support, held it, and now we have a high probability of continuing higher up to our next resistance areas. But what I would like to say is the last few days of making videos, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we were hitting into that first box of support, which we had a weekly level there. We had the point of control of our major range, and we also had the point of control of this little smaller range here. Point of control was in there. Now it's shifted a little bit higher, but the point of control was down in that area. And we held it, we flipped it to support, showing that Ethereum overall was looking strong and was looking for we were looking for another move to the upside, where we did have we have this first purple box above us. Now I would like to say we did get that SFP on what day was that? That was on Monday. We got the SFP of our highs, and then we kind of saw that dump. And we've just, been continuing this little rangy crap price action that, Bitcoin was seeing all week long too. But now that we are holding this level, you can see overall we've back tested it quite a few times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And the only big push down below it was when Jerome Powell was speaking on Tuesday, when we saw that little flash crash from Jerome Powell coming out so hawkish. But other than that, this overall area has been holding now that we are flipping it. Now that we broke above it, we're in the process of flipping it to support. If we have that successful flip to support, then we can expect our way up at least to grab our highs up around 1688, a little bit higher now, like these highs right up here. Or what I'm really looking for is a push up to this first purple box of resistance up here between 1738 and 1754. And why I'm looking up here is because you can see I have this red line marked on the chart as an SR flip levels, just a support resistance flip area. And you can see how well, let's actually zoom out on the chart for a bit. We'll go on to the 12-hour chart. I mean, it's been a very successful support resistance flip area, like support, resistance, support, support, resistance, now flipped it into support again, came down here, held as support, finally lost it. So now we can expect it to be a resistance area on the chart, but we also have a local golden pocket in that area as well. And if you look at the value area low of our previous range, it's not too much. It's a little bit higher up, but it's pretty much in the same area there. And so that is one of the levels that I'm looking at. Ethereum pumping up to that, at least that 1754-ish area. And then if we get up there, we'll have to see what happens to Ethereum once we get up there. If now, with this being a strong support resistance flip, there is a possibility that we could reject from this area. And I've talked about this in my last few videos, in my last few live streams. I do think now, because Ethereum, if we look at this, if we zoom out and look at this very, very strong downtrend that Ethereum has been in, after seeing such an aggressive downtrend like this, you usually see a bit of consolidation that happens on the chart. So let's look at our previous big downtrend here. You saw we had this big downtrend, and then what happened is we started to form some seller's exhaustion and started to form an accumulation range, right? You had your big drop, then you start to range for a bit, see some accumulation, and then you see another phase of expansion here. So what I'm projecting we could see now is we saw this giant drop here. Now could we see Ethereum start to consolidate in between this area for a few months even, before seeing that bigger break to the upside, where when we then now could start sweeping all these lower highs in the making and really see that bigger push up. So because of this theory of now that we are at major support levels, being the value area low of our 5-year range and the point of control, are we going to just chop in here for a bit, maybe see a rejection the first time from that purple box, come down, back test the local golden pocket, and we'll have to see where that is once it happens, start to form this accumulation range for a few weeks or so, a few months maybe even, and then we could see that bigger push to the upside. We don't have enough data on the chart yet, but we're just going to have to see how it plays out. Okay, let me check the chat here. Yeah, hit the likes, guys, if you would. I appreciate it. And thank you for saying that, Beats Rock. Yeah, stocks are down. BTC's ripping. You know, crypto is based a lot off sentiment. And all of a sudden, the sentiment for crypto has just gotten very, very bullish. So I do think that Bitcoin is due for that pump. Okay, let's see here. Demo trading is like going to the gym. Do your daily workout, just like that. 10K demo trades. Yes, stupid Bitcoin. That is actually a really good point. Like, if you can't turn $10,000 of demo money into $100,000 of demo money, then you're not going to be able to turn $10,000 of real money into $10,000 or $100,000 of real money. So I would recommend demo trading. The only thing with demo trading is your emotions aren't really involved in it because you know it's fake. So what I actually recommend for people that are real serious about trading is, say $100 is kind of a lot of money to you, but not like it won't kill you if you lose it. I would say throw $100 into an account and work on growing $100 into $1,000. And that way you have some real emotions invested in your trading, but not enough where if you lost it, it's going to ruin your life or it's going to, you know, destroy you or not make rent, something like that, whatever, you know. So, but that's a good point. Okay, Aave leads BTC. Okay, interesting. You know, I don't check Aave much, but May 5th through the 7th. Okay, stupid Bitcoin. What's on May 5th through the 7th other than Cinco de Mayo? All right, let's get back to the charts here. So I am expecting Ethereum to continue this pump up to that 1754 level, or I would say it's got a high probability of continuing that pump. I'm not saying it's going to happen in one straight candle, one straight move right now, but I am saying overall on the charts, we do have a higher probability now that we are flipping this point of control to support to continue to work our way up to our next resistance level. And we also have some much stronger resistance levels on the chart. I would say one of the main resistance levels on the chart is this guy here. The local resistance levels is we have a naked daily point of control. We have our golden pocket just pulled from our last big daily high down to the lows. And we have that previous range point of control in that area. So I would say that level is an area we do definitely need to be watching if Ethereum, because now what we can see on Ethereum with this range that's going to happen, it could just be between 1754 and like 1400. Or it could be a bigger range that forms between like this guy here, between like 2,000 and 1,500, 2,000, 1,500, 2,000, 1,500, and then see the bigger push up to start breaking 3,000, 4,000. But yeah, right now Ethereum looks pretty strong. Okay, I'm just going to go over some coins quick here. Let's go into Solana. Now, guys, on Solana, we saw some very, very key things happen on the chart, which we've been following on the channel for quite a while now. First of all, we hit into our major support level. And this support level down here, let me get rid of this smaller range for just a second. And let's go ahead and turn on that year-long range. I call it the macro range here. So, and let me go and pull that all the way. So this range goes back to the March 2024 highs. You can see our highs. We've kind of been ranging in this upper kind of price action since March of 2024. We had our huge impulse up. Now we've been ranging sideways. Well, what happened is that value area low around $123 was acting as a key support level, but then we lost it to the downside, bearishly back tested that range, value area low, and then made new lows. Now we came into a major support, being the lower band of the pitchfork in confluence with the monthly level that we had down there. If I turn it on, you can see that monthly level at 96.88. Let me get rid of one of those. There's two of them. 96.88 in confluence with our pitchfork lower band, and we held. Then you could see we were able to push back up, back above our value area low. We back tested that value area low to the dollar bullishly, and this is where I longed, by the way. I was anyone that was following my videos last week knew I was looking for this bullish back test to long. And the area that we were primarily looking for was this box between 144 and or 143 and 146. Now we are coming right up into that box as we speak right now. We did have another support box in between, resistance box, excuse me, in between at this area of 138.2, where we did have a naked daily point of control in confluence with the daily, but we did not get any reaction when we hit into this level. And I think we hit into that level on Saturday or really late Friday night. I wasn't at the charts. I wasn't looking. I was busy with family. I did get an alert that went off, but I just saw the alert went off and I said, okay, well, you know, I'm going to miss it because I'm busy. But you can see we even, you know, had a little bit of a range in there. Let's zoom in onto the hourly chart. We had a little bit of a range in that resistance area, no real rejection, and then we continued to push up. And we saw a small retrace. Now we're actually pushing into that resistance. But when we started breaking, when we back tested that value area low and flipped it to support, I said the main area we need to be looking for Solana to come up to is this box between 143 and 146. And we are finally getting up into that area. So we could see some rejection from this area. And why could we see rejection? If you look at our chart here, our market cipher B, we have higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves. Now, money flow still looks pretty strong overall, but you have to remember we are coming up into a major resistance. It's the point of control of our year-long range. We have a naked daily point of control. We have a daily level, of course, that large point of control I just mentioned. And the top of the pitchfork is just above. And this pitchfork has really been a highly respected pitchfork that we've been in. And so I do think this general area is an area where we could see a rejection from, even if it's a rejection, to come back test the pitchfork band that we broke to the upside and then continue up higher. But I would say this area that we're at right now, Solana is coming up to a major, and I did have a limit TP set from the long from here exactly at 144. So I don't know if we hit it because I've been streaming. It doesn't look like we've hit it yet. So I'm still waiting to come up just a little bit higher. If we turn on some of our levels here, let's see. Let's turn on our daily. So we have a daily at 143.69. And if we turn on our naked daily points of control, we have a naked daily point of control at 144.29. And then that pitchfork up there. So I'm just watching for, now that we're up in this resistance area, I would like to bust up into it a little bit more and start to see a little bit of a range form and some weakness form in here. And what I would be looking for, not only now do we have high time frame bear divs, I would be zooming in on the chart as that range is forming. And if I'm seeing some lower time frame divs come in here and money flow starting to come out while we're in this range up here, I would look for the short to bring down to lower prices, even if it's going to be an overall higher low on the chart. Okay, let's get rid of that. Triple top for Solana. Man, Solana's looking pretty good though. Solana's looking strong. Look at the money flow on Solana on the daily, curving up like this. We've invalidated our bear divs now. Now, we do have a potential for hidden bear divs on the daily, lower, higher here, you know, but first of all, this hasn't rolled over yet. And, you know, as long as we break this high, it's going to invalidate that. So we'll see here. We'll see how Solana plays out. Okay, let's check. Fake out. Macro move. Okay. Yeah, are you saying triple top as in like this guy here, here, and here? I wouldn't say that's quite a triple top yet, but we'll have to see. You know, Solana is looking pretty strong on some of these time frames. You know, we were getting that very, very nice bullish signal here. You can see on the charts, lower lows, and then lower lows here. Our local bull divs, regional bull divs, money flow coming up very strong, which was telling us that we could see that bigger relief rally. Plus, reclaiming that value area low and flipping it to support here was all that I needed to see for a bigger push up. Now, we are at the point of control of that major range. And I do think it's a possibility that we could even continue this little bit of a push up to grab that liquidity right into the top of our pitchfork there. Grab that liquidity and then see the dump back down. So that's something I will be watching for, and that's why I do have TP levels coming into this resistance that we're looking at right now. But overall, I would say that it is still looking pretty strong here. I'm waiting for a bigger sign of weakness before I can call this a triple top. But I understand your thinking here, and we will just have to wait till more data develops on the charts to see that. I am going to be looking for a short from this general area of resistance, but I do not see near enough on the charts yet to tell me to short. If you look at our money flow on the hourly is coming up very strongly. Now, we do have some bear divs here on the hourly. You can see here, higher highs, lower highs here. But once again, when your money flow is starting to come back up again, now we're making a third higher high here. If this momentum wave starts to bottom out here, that would give us our 3 drives of bear div on the hour coming up into our resistance box. That would let me know to take a short. And I will be looking for that. Hopefully it happens in the next couple hours, though, so that I can get in on that. And I want to come a little bit higher so my TPs hit. But that's just me being selfish. Okay, okay, just when I saw the chart. Fed decisions. Oh, yes, yes. Stupid Bitcoin. Thank you for reminding me about that. You're right. There is some big decisions being made. I think it is the CPI, right? Fed rate cuts or not on May 5th. Okay, nice, 144. Yes, I think 144 is the area to be looking for a TP. I wouldn't even blame you if you TP'd right now, but I have not yet. But, you know, if you longed 123, this is definitely an area to be looking at least to take out half of it. Ichimoku shows the weakness of this pump. Yeah, okay, Ichimoku. I don't use the Ichimoku yet, but I know it is a good tool that some good traders use. So, Divine Hood Trading is the master of Pitchfork. Thanks, man. Stupid Bitcoin, I appreciate that, man. I do like using pitchforks, and they do work really, really well for me. Yes, we can still touch 87.7 one more time and dump. Yep, let's actually check Bitcoin real quick to see what's going on here. Yeah, I think that overall, it's still looking pretty strong. Money flow's starting to top out here, and we have that first local drive of bear div on the 12-minute. I'm not ready to call it yet. If we start to lose, let's bring up that range again from 76.6. Let's turn this on and let's zoom out just a bit here. If we start to lose that value area high, I'll get concerned. Because what we could see right now is we could see a small pullback to hit that value area high and then keep going. Triple top for timber. Oh, yeah. Okay. What about Solana? Huge daily vector. Listen, man, Mike, I think Solana, if Solana breaks 144 to 147, we have a very high probability of pumping up to 179, where I have, I think we have a weekly level up there. Let me see here. Let's go on to my more macro chart here. Yeah, I do think, so we have that SFP around 180, but I would say, because I've been following this ascending channel as well, and you can see we had a fake out of it earlier today, and now we're trying to break back in it. So this area, if we reject here, you can see it would be the first breakdown of this entire ascending channel that we've been in. Break it down, back test it, and then we could drop. But if we start to reclaim this channel again, flip that point of control to support, we could work our way all the way up to like 162, or even I'd be looking at this pitchfork midline here around 155. So there's levels before that. There's levels before that for sure. Let me go ahead and hide this. Let's do this first. Let's hide this range real quick. And I want to talk about this pitchfork because, and I'll hide this channel for a second here. You can see this pitchfork midline all through this area. It was acting as support. Okay, then we lost it, back tested it as resistance, and came down to the lower band and, you know, chopped around in here, saw a small deviation, able to get back into the band, flip it to support, and continue higher. So now that we have this midline has been highly respected, it was acting as support through all of here, turned into resistance here. If we push up to it again, it will still be acting as resistance. So we could see a push all the way up to like that 157, 155 area and see a rejection from there. That is going to be a strong resistance when we work our way back up there. We have to be paying attention to that. That's 147, so that's not quite there. And then if you look at these internal highs here, you know, 155-ish. Let me make sure that's right on there. Yeah, 153, and if it's at 153, if we SFP those into that pitchfork midline, that could be an area. And those internal highs were kind of important before this last big drop here, so there is some liquidity resting above that. this was our big ABC correction. And if you remember, we were talking about this after the 3-wave corrective Trump tweet. Then we got our bigger ABC to the downside. We hit right into our C-wave target, where we then did long this on Bitcoin and Solana, saw that daily ascending channel move, and then continued the push down. So that area is going to be important. Those were our B-wave highs, that where a lot of people were shorting up there, including myself. Okay, let's see. Yeah, TAO. Okay, you guys, I checked out TAO earlier today. TAO, USDT. Okay, TAO is very, very interesting right now. Let's zoom out to the 4-hour chart. I mean, look at this pump here. So first of all, we hit into this big daily descending channel. Now, this channel has been on the chart for quite a while here. It was pulled from this high here to this high, down to this flash crash low. And TAO just kept dropping all the way to the bottom of the channel. And look at the reaction it had from the bottom of the channel. Like, perfect reaction here from the bottom of the channel. And it looks like we're continuing to pump here. Now, what I would like to say about TAO is I said this earlier today in Jason's Discord. The only resistance I see above is up in this purple box above us. So I think it has a high probability of continuing to push up to this purple box up here. But if we look at this move up that we've been seeing, it does look pretty impulsive. Now, this looks like an extended 5th wave, but like you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are we going to see that 5-wave impulse to the top of the channel after bouncing from the bottom of the channel? You can see we kind of found some resistance in that midline area like we did last time, like we did here, you know, with support here. So we flipped the midline to support, and now are we going to push up to the top of the channel? Up at the top of this channel, we have very strong resistance. We have a naked monthly point of control. We have a daily level. We have a naked weekly point of control. We have the top of the channel. We have a golden pocket. We have a swing failure liquidity grab, and it's the target of an ABC correction. If you're looking at this as just an ABC up into this area before we kind of dump again, and if we dump again, I would be looking at that midline. But TAO is looking pretty strong to continue the push up. Now, you cannot long from here, guys. If you miss the long, you're way too late. You're way too late. It's way too risky to long from here just to look to take profit up here. Now, if we continue this push up, you know, you could also be looking at this a couple ways. So let me zoom in onto the 2-hour chart. So you could be looking at this as one bigger impulse to the upside, or you could be looking at this as in the ABC. And so I would like to talk about that real quick. So in a bigger ABC, let me grab that ABC on the chart. This being an A wave here, this being a B wave, and this being your C wave, right? Within the A wave, you're looking for a 5-wave impulse. Well, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now your 4th wave is very small. And let me redo that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then within your B wave, you're looking for a 3-wave corrective move. Now, that's almost a straight line, but if you zoom in, this does look like this little push up here looks like it could be a 3-wave corrective move here. And then you're looking for an impulse in your C wave as well, a 5-wave impulse. Now, this is very hard to count a 5-wave impulse in here, but, you know, it maybe not, you know, it's tough. I don't like zooming in too low time frame to count that, but let's just surmise that this could be an ABC correction, right? So if we do that and you take your trend-based Fibonacci extinction and you measure the targets for your C wave to end, we'll look at where your C wave should end between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. Well, it's in our box. It's in our box with all the rest of our confluence. So, I mean, there is so much resistance up here. I would expect at least some sort of reaction from this box here. Even if we're going to do something like come up here, reject, make a higher low, and then continue the breakout, the big push to the upside, I would expect some sort of reaction from this box. Because it's just, yeah, too much there, you know. And if we do break it without a reaction, you know, so be it. We continue higher, and you look for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bigger push up. You know, I would be saying at least up to, I've made a bunch of boxes. I just looked at this earlier today. But the next big area would be this area here, and I can tell you that is between 422 and 449. We have a 786, a weekly, our previous range value area low. We have the macro golden pocket from high to low, and we have a monthly level there. So that area is going to be strong. And then, of course, if we break that, we have some guys above us as well. Yes. Okay. So, and then also you could do, let's do this. I mean, like, I know this is pretty much the whole price action of the entire coin, but we're above the point of control. Yep. I would say reject here, maybe find a higher low and continue up to the value area high where you can see we have these 3 internal highs up here. So overall, I don't know what's going on with, is this bit tensor? I don't know what's going on with it, why it's pumping so much if there's fundamentals. But as far as technicals go, you know, we were kind of seeing some signs of that on the weekly chart, bottomed out on the weekly, and then on the daily chart, we were seeing those bull divs on the daily, very slight, but they were bull divs here. Money flow coming to the upside. But here's the thing, guys. We are seeing some hidden bear divs possibly come in on the chart here. Lower highs, even if we reject from this box, lower highs here, higher highs here, that would be hidden bear divs. And you can see our money flow is starting to kind of curve here. We just have to be careful that this is an ABC. We reject here and we continue to push down. But overall, it's looking pretty strong right now. And I would say, at least locally, we have a very, very high possibility of pumping up to the top of this, to this box up above us. Okay, let's see here. Sounds nice. Okay, are you eating ice? Yes, EJ, I did eat some ice, man. You could hear that. Man, I drink so much water during these streams. Yeah, it was ice. I can't believe you guys heard that. Sorry. I like to eat ice. If Bitcoin is digital gold, we need to see strength in following gold. Yeah, gold's been pumping though, dude. TAO. Yep, we do that. How do you find the weekly point of control? Okay, good question. So I use an indicator called the periodic volume profile. So go up into your indicators up here, type in periodic volume profile or PVP. Just you could type in PVP. You can see here it's going to be called periodic volume profile. Now I think you have to have paid TradingView to use this. I don't know if it's on the free version of TradingView. But if once you get there, you just go into your settings and you'll leave your period at 1 and you can come in here. You can mark out your dailies, your weeklies, your monthlies. So you're going to change it to the weekly one. Hit OK, and then you just, turn it on, and it's going to show you where your naked weekly points of control are. So every week, it's going to show you a volume profile for the week, and your naked ones will be on the chart extended. But actually, I got to tell you how to do that. So you come into your settings here, and first of all, you want to change your row size to 200 or 240. It doesn't really matter. I use 200. And then you want to click this box that says extend POC to the right. So that way, if it's a naked POC, it'll extend it to the right, and you can see that it won't be touched. It will still be naked. So right here, for instance, the naked weekly point of control. And that's part of the reason why I have this box here. You can see we have a naked daily point of control, we have a naked weekly point of control, we have a daily, and we have a 786, all in this box. So what my boxes are, I'll show you guys my process here. So first of all, I will mark out, and this takes a while. I spent about an hour doing this earlier today. Let me turn this indicator off. I will mark out all my levels. So if you come in on your tree, my monthlies, my weeklies, my dailies, my SFPs, my naked monthlies, naked weeklies, I'll mark out my bigger stuff. I mark out all my levels, and then I find where there's good confluence in all those levels, and I make boxes in those levels where there's the best confluence. And generally those boxes work out pretty freaking well. I have to say, we generally get some reactions and some trades off of those boxes. I use a bunch of different things. I use Elliott waves, I use volume levels, I use pitchforks and channels, as many of you guys know. And I just developed this strategy where I find the most confluence, I mark them out in boxes, and generally we do see some pretty good reactions from those boxes. And also, I look at Market Cipher to use as my confirmation whether to enter and exit trades. Okay. Fibonacci says we go above 88. Break. Yeah, I think we probably are. Yep. Yeah, you don't want to long from here. Find a pan out 2 or 3 ounces of gold, convert it into cash. Trade that into 1 BTC. It's literally, yeah, okay. I'm interested in that stupid Bitcoin because you're saying you find gold and then you convert it into cash, then trade it into 1 Bitcoin. Yeah, I guess it's a way of turning your gold into Bitcoin. So that's cool. I actually like gold mining. I don't do it myself personally, but I like, the people that do. A couple of my friends used to do it for a living. I know, CJ, I do need to create my own Discord. There's a couple more months. I'm doing something with Jason right now, doing some streams in his Discord for a few months, and depending on what happens there, I might create my own, or we'll see what happens. So, RVN, yeah, we can check RVN. I haven't done TA on that, so we'll have to check that, like, blank. The gold catch-up play. Yeah, okay, let's check RVN. Now, is it RVN USDT? Let's go on Binance. Let's go out to the monthly chart. Ooh. Okay, is this the right chart, first of all? It looks like it's from 2019. Where's that at? Monthly. Okay, I see. Wow. Yep. Very nice pitchfork on this chart. You can see that the lower band held for most of this. We pumped up above the midline, flipped the midline to support, kind of found some chop in the upper band, tried to break it, fell back to the midline, tried to break it again, fell back. We're reclaiming the midline right now. Okay, so let's just go ahead and mark some stuff out here. I wanted to mark out that monthly because that looked like a key area. Now we can mark out our weekly levels. Here, I would mark out this weekly just above us because this is going to be an important weekly. Let's look at this guy up here. Now, this chart's about to get really messy, so it's going to get messy, then I'll clean it up. We'll show you kind of the process of how I do this. So I'm going to mark out my monthlies, my weeklies. Now I will come in onto the dailies here. We'll just mark out some of the dailies. I can see, first of all, we have this little descending channel in this area. So we could do something like this. Oh, like this guy here. Yeah, nice little descending channel just in this last little daily part here. So that descending channel top there is going to be pretty important. You can see we're breaking the midline in red and flipping it. So we can continue, this area up here, the next pitchfork band is going to be important. We'll look for confluence now. So now on the daily chart, I would say let's mark out this guy right here. Is that naked? Yep, it looks like it's going to be naked. And let's mark out this guy up here. And lastly, yeah, I think that's a good area to be looking. And then, of course, these range highs here at the top of the channel. So anytime you have a descending channel like this, you want to mark out that channel highs where it was taken from, that SFP here. And so now I'm starting to see a nice zone of resistance develop in this area. Let's see if we can't find any other resistance there. So I would be looking at, first of all, let's measure this. That is going to be a 75% drop. You're probably gonna have to use a log scale for that. Let's see here. Golden pocket. Yeah, because look at, if I pull a golden pocket from the high to the low and you turn on your golden pocket, it's almost near the highs. Look at that, is not a 61% retrace. That's more like an 80% retrace, right? If you look at this level up here to the highs, between this all down here, this is about 80% and this is about 20%. So you know that it's just wrong. You need to turn it to log scale so you get the proper 61.8% retrace. So now we're going to go into our fib. We're going to turn it, well, let me get that right. We're going to come into settings and we're going to click based off log scale. And there you go. Now we have our proper golden pocket. Okay, I like that area already because we have a fresh weekly up here. We have the top of the pitchfork, and we have the golden pocket. So I would say this area would be a nice resistance area to be looking. We also have internal liquidity, right? Grab in there. 2 internal liquidity grabs there. But if you're looking at this more locally, let's see. We could do... Now, we'll take our fib from our highs of the channel to the lows. And let's make sure that's not on fib scale. Not on log scale there. Yeah, okay, look at that. Nice golden pocket right into our daily at 01309. You have some liquidity there. You have that internal last big daily high right into that golden pocket, right into that daily. So I would say this guy here... And don't worry, this chart will get cleaner, guys. I know this looks really bad right now. This is going to be GP/daily. And SFP. Okay, now we can go even one step lower. And on our daily chart, we can just mark out from our last big daily high to our lows. And let's look at that 786. It's going to, yeah, 786 is not close to the weekly. I would say the golden pocket is aligning pretty nicely with the top of the channel. If you look at this, if it takes us a couple days, we could reject from the top of that channel and that golden pocket again. But that weekly above is pretty important. You can see this volume gap, this imbalance candle we have here. That's going to be important because if we don't reject from this golden pocket, we're probably going to push through it. Thank you, Zarash. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Let's see here. Okay, let's keep going on this real quick. All right. And then now I don't know if you're looking at this very locally or if you're looking at this more on like spot type trading. Or I mean, yeah, spot big trading, higher time frame stuff if you're looking to like day trade this. But I would say you could pull a range here from that after that flash crash ended, after that impulse ended. And look at, we're at the value area low of the range. So if we can reclaim this, remember we were talking about this area as building some confluence. We'll look at the value area highs also in that area. So now we have up in this area, we have a liquidity grab, we have a daily, we have the pitchfork band, and we have the value area high. So this SFP, value area high, pitchfork band, and we have the daily. Man, okay, so I do like this, though. You can see when we're zoomed in on the 4-hour chart, we're kind of developing. Now, this does look pretty nicely like a inverse head and shoulders if you're a pattern trader. You know, you have your inverse head and shoulders, which is a bottom reversal pattern. You start to break those highs. I would say your neckline, your proverbial neckline is something like this here. So we could start to be breaking them down. That's why we're starting to see this volume candle to the upside. But what you're going to want to be aware of as a fake out, because smart money likes to fake out retail. So I'd be looking at this high right here, this local little range high into the golden pocket, into the top of the channel. You could see a push up there to get everyone thinking, oh my God, the inverse head and shoulder is going to break. You come into this golden pocket, you come into the top of the channel, and then you roll over. Be careful of that. Okay, and then let's pull a small range just from that area. Okay, yeah, we're breaking the value area high of that range, and we're at the value area low of the other range. So this could be an area where we're starting, we could see a slowdown or a pullback from, but I would say we have a high probability now of at least continuing up to this golden pocket. Now, once we get to that golden pocket, you could do a fib pull from the lows to the highs. I'm just going to put it at the 0.65, but this is hypothetical right now. You can see that golden pocket's going to be coming around that channel midline in the weekly. That could be a good support level, but you would also want to look at your 0.5 because oftentimes 0.5 can be a higher low target. if you're continuing and you look at where it's at that pitchfork midline. The thing is, guys, you can mark out all your levels, but don't, just because you mark out all your levels and you have all this confluence here, doesn't mean you blindly short or long these areas. As you're coming up into those areas, you want to go ahead and look at whatever indicator you're using. You don't have to use Market Cipher. You could use RSI, MACD, you could use Awesome Oscillator, but you want to use these to see if you're seeing any bear divs, or how does money flow look, how does other things look, and then once you're getting into that area, if you have confirmations to enter your short at your area, you can enter, but you just don't want to blindly set limit orders because there's resistance here. Oh, Bitcoin, go back to Bitcoin. I just saw that comment. Let me check this out. Yeah, okay, guys, I'm telling you, Bitcoin is going to keep pumping. At this point, we're probably going to come take these highs, guys. At this point. Let's keep watching that. AR, yep. Let's see here. Shit, has it been an hour already? It's been an hour and a half already. Guys, I have to go soon. Next stream I do, I will chart more altcoins, I promise. I don't know if I have time. And nonsense, absolutely, man. I know we could have dove deeper into that chart as well. So like if we want to do a full dive into these charts, it does take me, you know, a good 15-20 minutes, and that's even not even really diving into them. But why don't you guys make a list, and then next time we do a live stream, just post it right away, and we'll throw a few of them on the watch list, and we'll look at some of them. But while Bitcoin, now that Bitcoin's breaking this value area high and holding above it, let's just check real quick. AR USDT. Let's see. I don't know if I've checked Arweave in quite a while here. We can just do like a rudimentary check of this thing. So Arweave was trading in this nice descending channel for quite a while. Oh yeah, look at, we even broke this area where I was looking at possibly buying spot there. I never did buy it, but Arweave was in this very nice descending channel. We broke it to the downside and we're continuing. Damn, dude, Arweave is at like very nice spot buy levels. But now at this point, let's check this out. Let me go onto the weekly chart. And I think I even have a bigger descending channel on this thing. Let's see. If we look at this guy, there's no, from the highs to the lower highs here, and then you bring it down to the lows. Like, look how nicely this is being respected here. So, but man. Okay, there, and 608, 0.65, and we'll turn on the 786. We're even breaking our 786, so I would say, unfortunately, this thing, yeah, we're bouncing from the 886, log 886. So here's the thing, guys. When you are in a macro trend and overall on the weekly, yes, this isn't a downtrend. You have your high, your low, your lower high. You do have a higher probability of coming at a lower low. Now that we've hit the 886 on the weekly, you could see a good relief rally, but you should be expecting a lower high to come in on the charts to eventually come take out these lows. And I hate to say that, but it is very rare that in a more macro trend, when you hit that 886 retrace, yes, you might see a bounce, but you should be expecting a lower high before coming down lower. And, man, yeah, Arweave's a good project, but the thing is, it was really kind of hyped up for a while. And as far as the fundamentals goes, you know, it's a one-time pay for, like, forever storage, but storage is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to get more and more storage. So I don't know, as far as the fundamentals go, how well this project is going to work. Yes, it is decentralized, but I would say be careful with it. Let's just say that. Let's go here. It's golden pocket. Okay, let's turn on 786. Yeah, that 786 into that liquidity grab up there would be really nice. Now that's quite a ways away. Let's just say that. You have a weekly up here. You have that liquidity grab and that 786. So I would say that's a major area. If we, because even from this 886 bounce, so one of the things that you're looking for lower high to come in on the charts on this 886 bounce, but your lower high could bring you all the way up here. You know, you could see something like this and then come down. I would say it's not going to go straight up there. It's not going to do a straight line up there. It'll be quite a while. And let's even look at, dang it. Golden pocket. Your golden pocket here is coming in around your prior highs. If you look at these prior highs here. Highs, 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 support, support, support. Now it's coming in around that area. General support resistance flip. But I would say you're due for a bounce. Here's the thing, guys. Look at the money flow here on the weekly. Coming out aggressive still. No bull divs on the monthly. Or on the weekly, excuse me. Let's go on to the daily chart. Okay, nice bull divs on the daily. Lower lows through all this. Higher lows here. Money flow coming up. Okay, that shows us that we could get that bigger relief rally. Okay, so now we're looking at a bigger relief rally here. I do see a very slight, decent, very steep descending channel here on this last little bit. Chopping around, we're reclaiming the midline. Could we pump to the top? Absolutely. So you can look at that fib there. Yep, golden pocket, and then let's make sure that's not on log scale. So we'll just go here. Yep. Let me get rid of that now. This thing does look pretty bearish, but this is showing that we could get a little bit of a relief rally here. And I would look even here from this last big daily high down to our lows. 0.5 could be around that midline. Let's turn on the other channel. Yeah, thank you, Abir. If you guys, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button. That'd be cool. Yeah, Arweave will follow the rest of the market, though. You're right. You know, if crypto starts pumping, Arweave's going to start pumping too. But look at Arweave's recovery compared to some of the other coins already. Nothing compared to some of the other coins. Like, look at Solana. Look at, you know, even Chainlink, Ethereum looks better than this. Yeah, right. Kick out Jerome and hire me. I don't know about that, man. Oh. Let's see. Holy crap, I just pulled in from work. Oh, Kespo, what's up, brother? It's good to see you, man. Go back to BTC and let us see the volume of your indicator. Are you talking about... Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin. And are you talking about, like, just the normal volume? Yeah, look at that spike in volume, guys, on the hourly chart. So this does tell me now when we see this spike in volume here, and then we see, if we go into our CVD and we see this spike in open interest here, like, you know, this is a healthy push to the upside. This is a very healthy push to the upside that we're seeing so far. New money coming into the market, successfully pushing the price higher on Bitcoin. I would say we still haven't even started the short squeeze yet. So this thing can continue. The mountain kind of indicate. Oh, are you talking about this guy here? These volume profiles. So that's a volume profile. It's called the fixed range volume profile. Let me turn off the intermediate one. And let's look. So we're breaking the value area high. You can see we're breaking the value area high of our smaller range. So now that we're breaking the value area high of this 76.6 range, we have a higher probability of continuing up to the value area high of our more intermediate range, which is above us still. You don't want to be pitchfork. Yeah, exactly, Mickey. Exactly. But look at Kespo, just to give you a little bit of a recap here. If you, you know, the past few days we've been consolidating in this range, actually for a week since last Saturday. We've been consolidating in this mini range, and it looked like bullish consolidation to me. You know, we were consolidating at our major resistance area, but we weren't even really seeing the rejection to take our range liquidity lows. You know, we couldn't even take our range liquidity lows. Now, my last video I made on Thursday, I was saying it would be a healthier to come down and SFP those lows before seeing the breakout. But I did say we might not see the breakout. We might just continue to consolidate right below this resistance and then see an explosion out of it. Well, you can see what happened over the weekend is, let me turn that back on. We got above the point of control, back tested the point of control, flipped it to support, and now we're seeing the explosion to the upside. So, and we're breaking local resistances. We didn't SFP the range highs. We didn't we hit into our naked weekly point of control, and we are breaking that. Let's go here. Naked weekly point of control. We're breaking our naked weekly point of control, or trying to. We still haven't confirmed it yet. I would want to see an hourly close above that level, guys, because be aware. We could wick past it. If we start dumping, you could still start dumping from where we're at now. Let's actually zoom in onto the 5-minute chart. We're in the process of trying to flip it. So you can see here we're breaking above it. If we start to see more green candles come in now, it acted as resistance, flip the 886. Now we're trying to flip that. So if we start to see more green candles come in right now, 89K at least. But this is starting to see a little bit of exhaustion here in a little ascending channel. Volume is going lower now. Money flow topped out here. Bear divs on the 5-minute. Bear divs here. Here. We'll see. But look at right now, until we start losing that naked weekly point of control, I would suspect higher. Right now we're working on flipping that. Okay, shit. It's getting kind of late. I got 5 more minutes, guys. 5 more minutes, and then, but I forget who asked me about Arweave. Next live stream we do, if you ask me about Arweave again, I'll go back into it more. And what I'll do is I'll start to do some TA. If you guys post in the Discord or even in my comments section in my videos, post which altcoins you want me to look at. That way I can kind of do some of this stuff ahead of time, and we don't have to spend 30 minutes on the stream going over it. I can have it ready a little bit ahead of time. Now, I know some of you guys like to watch that process. We can do a little bit of both. Yeah. Oh, this thing, Market Cipher. I'm sorry. This thing is called Market Cipher B. Now, this is a paid indicator, CJ, but you don't have to use this. There's other indicators that kind of mimic this, or there's, you can use an RSI, and an RSI will still give you divs. But what I like about this is the money flow is so accurate on this. Yeah, Arweave, I mean, let's see. Arweave is looking like it's due for a relief rally, bouncing from that 886. But, oh, man, money flow is already coming out. And look at the bear divs you're seeing here. Multiple drives on the hourly. Higher highs, lower highs here. Money flow's now coming out. You just got to be careful, because we could even come up for one more high here and do this and make another drive of bear div and then see your money flow come out. So it does look like Arweave. You got to be careful with how many multiple drives of bear div are happening on the hourly. Watch out for the SFP of these highs at 576. I actually think that's kind of probable right now from what we're seeing. But now with us developing multiple drives of bear div here, look at this. I mean, this 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not 5 yet, but if we do come up here, that'll be 5 highs, 5 lower highs, money flow coming out overall. SFPing your range liquidity, and then at that point, what you would be looking for is that bigger push down. You would, I would probably look at least the golden pocket from this low to the high. Like, let's just say it comes up there. I'd be looking at wherever that golden pocket's going to come in. And then also you want to take your volume profile and measure this little range. Yeah, look at that. So that's where it would be. Now that high, this golden pocket's completely theoretical. I just threw it a little bit above. Like if we got an SFP, just imagine we got an SFP. So throw it up there, and then you're measuring your volume. Your golden pocket's coming in right around your point of control. So what you could be looking for, you could set an alert here on this. If you continue to develop bear divs, let's see, SFP short. If divs, you know, you could say SFP short if divs, and then as you're coming up there, if you wick above it and then close below it with all these divs still on the chart, you could look at shorting this and then bringing it down at the very least to backtest the value area high of the range. But I'd probably be bringing it down to the golden pocket and the point of control. Boom. And then you could look at longing here and bringing it up higher, starting to form that bigger. Now, just like with Ethereum though, guys, we want to see a bigger range after such an aggressive, let me get rid of all this. After such an aggressive downtrend for so long here, you're going to want to see a bigger range start to develop, showing exhaustion on the sellers overall. You want to see some exhaustion. Like if you zoom out on some of the other projects, like let's go to Chainlink here and I'll show you an example of what I mean. Where's it at? Okay, and let's zoom out to the daily chart. So you can see here, and I know this chart's really messy, guys. I had all my levels turned on because I was looking at things. But you can see here, we had this big downtrend all through here. And then you started to form this little accumulation range for a bit, and then you saw the big expansion up. So you're going to want to see stuff like this, or even if you look on a higher time frame, as far as the last big drop in the bear market, then you started to form this accumulation range for a bit. Accumulation. Then you saw the expansion up. So you generally want to see some selling exhaustion come in where you're starting to find a base here. You're going to have time to get in. You know, you can even play this range. Short near the highs of the range, long near the lows of the range. But you're going to want to see, after such an aggressive downtrend, whales are not going to be trying to knife catch that. All the big guys are not going to try to knife catch right down here. They're going to be patient and wait for a little bit of range, and then they're going to start accumulating towards the lows of the range, building their position, and then wait for the expansion. So you want to do the same thing. After such an aggressive downtrend on Arweave, are you really going to try to knife catch that to bring it up? Well, if that's your strategy and your style, then great. Just make sure you're using proper risk. But for me, at least on some of these projects that have been dumping so hard, I want to wait a little bit. Oh man, I guess I just got to clean this chart up. Okay, let's check Bitcoin out for 5 minutes, then I got to go. Really, this time I do got to go. Okay, we might see something here. Interesting. So I do think this could give us a small pullback, but guys, we have to be careful. We could pull back to the VWAP and then continue pumping. You could see something like this and continue pumping. If we start to lose this 886 level that's just below us, this red line that's just below us, then I would say, okay, maybe we are going to see a bigger drop, and maybe this was a fake out pump. Yeah, look at this. All these higher highs here, all these lower highs here, money flow coming out here, crossing into the red finally on the 1 minute. Might be good for a scalp short. Man, it's tough because you are seeing some bear divs. You are seeing bear divs. Money flow looks strong though. I really want to wait here. For me, I understand if you're shorting here. I understand if you're shorting. If you're shorting, just be careful. You could look at this range value area high. So what I would look at is you're going to pull your range here and watch for taking, if you're shorting this, if we come down to 85,300, take some profit. Also, that's probably our local golden pocket. Let's do our golden pocket pull. Yeah, right there. So you see that? golden pocket, value area high. So if we reject from here, 85,300 area is definitely the take profit on this scalp. But I'm not even going to be looking at scalping this until we lose that 886. If you don't lose that 886, you don't want to, you don't want to short here without losing that 886. So what I would be looking at, short here, stop would go right above the high. You'd be taking it down to that, and look at that. That's a 3.5 risk reward ratio. So that's a good scalp there that you'd be looking at taking, but you'd want to be patient and maybe even let it go a little bit further down. Start to see some candle closes below that 886, and then you're going to, let that happen. Okay. Yes. Let's see. Can you use Orex? I've never heard of Orex before, man. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Okay. I'm glad, R Pink. Thank you, man. Thank you for always being here too. CJ, Market Cipher B is not free. Unfortunately, it's, in my opinion, kind of overpriced, but I bought it anyway, and I bought it like 5 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. It is a good indicator. I will say that. It's a good indicator. Okay. Chainlink is a real project. Yeah, I like Chainlink, Mickey. I do think it's a real project, and I've been accumulating some Chainlink already. I'm not sponsored by LuxAlgo, or I think Market Cipher is not even LuxAlgo. I think Market Cipher is a CryptoFace. It's different, a little bit different. You got a short at 85. Yeah, give it a shot to 85. Yes, yeah. 85.3. 85.3 is the area I'd be looking, because that's the value area high of your previous range, our week-long mini range that we broke out of. So anytime you break a range with volume like this and compared to the range, so let's just zoom out to the hourly chart. If we're just looking at the volume of this range, right? So let's go down here and let's look at this volume down here. Pretty flat, pretty flat, pretty flat spike, right? So we're breaking the range with a spike in volume. Now that we're hitting into our first resistance, if we reject from that resistance, you need to watch for Bitcoin to form another higher low on the charts to continue breaking higher, to continue the overall trend that we've been in. So what you're going to want to look at is, of course, the golden pocket first and foremost. And guess what? It's got confluence with your previous range value area high. That is the TP. That is what I would be looking for a scalp. I mean, like, you could take 75. I would, personally, if I'm going to open this here, which I haven't yet, if I'm going to open a short here, I would take 75% out here, and I'd leave 25% to run to the value area low, where you can see the point of control of the bigger ranges. And then I would even leave some to run for 83K. But for me, it's not good enough to short. Like you can see, we're just like I just said, we want to wait to see candles to close below the 886. Well, look at, we're flipping the 886 right now to support. So you just got to be patient sometimes, guys. We're in our box of resistance, but until you start to lose that box, and this box should be pulled a little bit lower. I just got lazy when I was pulling it. So let me go out to the hourly chart. And if I click on this box, let me get over here. This should be pulled a little bit down to the 886. I just sometimes don't pull it right on there. But that's where your box is at. So between the 886 and that naked weekly point of control, and the value area high of that 76.6 range. So now, until we start to lose that 886, we just got to expect higher prices to come. But if you start to lose that 886 and you're still seeing those bear divs come on the chart, I would look for a short down to this 85.3. Okay, yeah, 87.7 for last chunk. Let's actually check our liquidation heat map here. Let's go to the last 2 weeks of price action. I mean, we did take most of the liquidity, CJ. So I would say, yes, we've taken most of it. I would say it would be acceptable to dump from here. Yep, I would say it would be acceptable if we could not even come any higher. We could reject from here this purple box and come down to 85.3. Now remember, we still have that liquidity resting below 83. If we break back into this volume profile, like say 85.3 doesn't hold, then we have a high probability of at least working our way to the value area low of the range, which you can see is where our bigger point of control is. And then if we lose this at 84, then yes, 83 is highly likely. So we play level to level as traders, level to level. Right now, we're looking at some local levels. We're breaking our range to the upside. We're at our first local level of resistance. It doesn't look like it wants to reject here. If I'm being honest with you guys, it looks like it wants to continue. At least up to 88.8. 88.750 is where the liquidity grab is. But you remember, you want to see a little bit of a wick past that. So you're looking for like 89K. You know, see something into 89K, and then you want to start closing candles below that level. That would give you that short signal. You would look for the short as soon you'd look for the short as soon as you start closing below that level. You'd put your wick, your stop loss above wherever that wick is, and you'd want to bring it down to wherever. You know, I'd probably even bring it down there. You could bring it down all the way to 83K and still be acceptable. I mean, that would still make a higher low on the charts. That looks really strong, but if you zoom out, you know, that's still a small retrace, and then you could continue the overall push up. Gosh, my charts. I gotta remember to clean up my charts after these freaking live streams. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, all right, guys. I gotta get going. I gotta spend some time with the family for for the night. And I will see you guys. I will try to get some more streaming out on my channel. I'm really sorry I can't check FET now. I do have to get going, but next time, if you remind me on the next stream, I will check it, I promise. Thank you all for coming. I will see